Shout out our sponsors, GW Competitions. They run regular draws for you to win different prizes, from cash to Rolexes to cars and all sorts. It's all legit, and the draw is run through the Google number generator. And the prize is delivered the next day, and if it's cash, it's transferred the same day. The draws are run on Facebook Live and Instagram Live. And you got to be in it to win it.
Ayo, who made this? Ammo 7 did it again.
Again, Big Ego Media. Got another special guest today. Goes by the name of Image God. How are you today, sir?
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
Not too bad. How's your journey?
Sweet, calm.
You've come at the right time. The sun's out now. Things are
Shining.
looking good.
Beanies are out.
Normally in here it's been cold. I know you said beans are out, but I can't even look at that. I'm happily taken.
I respect
Mrs.
it.
watching.
I respect
Babe,
it.
No, I claim you every time.
So I apologize.
I hear that. But what am I saying? So I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't know too much about you beforehand.
Yeah.
And then I got sent your music. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, you're cold. And I don't really say that not just because you're here.
Yeah.
I was telling these guys before earlier, he's cold, because you gave me that music vibe that I grew up listening to, and also the kind of music that's kind of coming back now as well. Like slowly, the road rap is starting to make its comeback.
Yeah.
We'll start from your journey from the very get-go. So,
Calm.
Where are you from? Where did you grow up? What's your background?
Basically, I'm from North London, Edmonton.
Yeah.
Basically been in Edmonton my whole life until recently. I've moved out. I've been doing music since school.
Okay.
Like I remember it like it was yesterday. You know, I wrote my first lyric with actually Black the Ripper.
Okay.
God rest his soul. We actually wrote our first lyric, and I think we was like 16 in DT, and we wasn't taking it too serious then, but we always had like the passion. So even from school, I've been doing music from school, and that just led up to Heat FM, Axe FM, and just establishing, just moving up, and then I switched from grime to rap, and then I just been rapping since.
I'm gonna say So you started off doing, was it grime first?
Yeah, I was actually doing grime music first. I was in a local. Actually, at first I was in a group called Small Soldiers.
Yeah.
And we was on Heat FM, and then from Small Soldiers, I actually went to a crew called Rowdy Squad, and that was also in Edmonton. But there was a collective of just music. There was just nothing but music. And then from Rowdy Squad, I went to a group called Militant Terrorists, and that was also Edmonton, but it's just different units and all that.
Yeah.
And then that's just been my base and group of friends from then. Even before that, we was cool, but then it's like the music made it bond more stronger, and then from there it's just been strictly rap.
I mean, just sort of growing up, how was it in your household? Both parent household at the time?
Yeah, my mum and dad. My dad actually, my mum and dad split. I think I must have been about 8. Okay. And then my mum remarried, and then my stepdad. So I've had.
So that role models.
Yeah.
Did your dad play a part in your life at the time, or?
My real dad or my stepdad?
Your real dad.
No.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, no.
Do you think that affected you in any way at all?
Do you know what? At the time, it was a thing where, because I was young and I didn't understand, it was just like, I was angry. I'm like, oh, bro, I haven't even seen him.
Yeah.
But then, as time goes on, you understand that maybe there's one side to a story and you don't really know the second side. But unfortunately, he actually passed, and we never, you know what I'm saying, had a relationship or even said a reason, or I can say, oh, I understand, or boom, boom, boom. So that's probably not affected me. That's the thing that hit me the most, that I didn't have that, even just to say, do you know what, I can understand now, and man, get it, you get it.
I mean, how was you in school? So was you one of the bright kids? Was you a troublemaker? Was you a slow learner?
I've always been like clever.
Yeah.
Like, but I was like the cheeky one.
Yeah.
Like I was always in trouble, like getting kicked out of lessons on report, yellow, orange report. But I love like PE and stuff.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like PE, I'm on it, first on it, getting changed. I played for the football team from all throughout the year. Actually, I like English as well, and I like RE. Remember RE?
Yeah,
and we had a cold RE teacher, so that made it even better. But I was a bit troublesome. I was a bit troublesome in school. From being in school and then on the road, that came a bit later.
So you mentioned someone earlier, Black the Ripper, who someone that's dearly missed by many.
Yeah.
When did you sort of start meet him first, and how did your relationship build?
We was friends forever, like from primary school.
You went to the same primary school?
Yeah, Eldon, and then all the way Hazelbury to Alwood, and then even later on just had a relationship. Like we was actually like best friends at one point.
Okay.
So like he's the one that kind of influenced and inspired the music to do more. Like, it's something that we're good at. Let's run it. Because he was a bad boy footballer. Okay. So he was like, he dropped football to focus on music. Yeah. So I was always on that, let's get to it. And then obviously I came into a crew and he was in the crew as well, Rowdy Squad. Okay. So we just always been doing music since then. Okay. So like going on forward then in terms of the whole sort of Edmonton scene, obviously you had I guess what most people, young people in sort of living in the sort of neighborhoods, you get caught up with the wrong crowd, I'll say. I mean, how was it for you? What was your transition? Because doing music is one thing, but getting involved in sort of certain lifestyles is another thing. So what it was, I was raised in like the church. Okay. So where I was in a church, I've always had that, I've always known what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Yeah. But I was also one of those, I was very intrigued. So where I was raised in the church, I was also, my friends as well, doing certain things. And I'm like, oh, rah. And I can say maybe at first, it was maybe like, not peer pressure. Yeah. But it was like, oh, fam, like, man, them, like, you know what I'm saying? I would say it's peer pressure, because it's like, your friends are encouraging you, and you're like, yeah, sure. I spoke about this today, another podcast I've done. Like, it could be, peer pressure, yeah, it is. And then it just becomes, once you do something, it just becomes force of habit. Yeah. So then my attention and everything is just changed from being in the church up to maybe 16, 17, and then being on the road. And then it's two different things. Yeah. So the transition was like, it wasn't like that. Yeah. It was slowly. Yeah. So like in terms of sort of being on the road, did you affiliate yourself and say, okay, we're in a gang, or was it like we're just a bunch of friends and we call ourselves? No, at first, like how it started was, there's always been collectives of groups. So when I was getting to it, I'm from Edmonton. Yeah. I've always been from Edmonton, and I know everyone in Edmonton. So it's like, you go over there, you know people from there, and you go over there. So we all grew up together more or less, because Edmonton's mad small. So everyone knows everyone. So I was friends with people like, that was the link to other people. Yeah. So where I was cool with one person and we're cool, boom, 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 I then got, he's my bridging as well now, because we're into it. So we came from, there was from the foundation of it, there was a group called Camp. Yeah. Yeah. And everyone had matching tracksuits. Okay. But at that start, it was just man them. But then, as things progress, it becomes like a statement, and now you are maybe considered a gang. But anybody in a group of friends, even now, people here will be considered a gang. Yeah. But they kind of escalated it more, where we kind of fitted the description more as time went on. Yeah. So I mean, like, we can't take away the fact that, from my understanding, Tottenham and Edmonton do not get along. The two areas do not get along. Do you remember yourself in regards to what was the history that was told to you? Because I was never told the history why we didn't like Gator Boys. Yeah. I just told we don't like them, and if we see them on site. Yeah. Do you remember any form of history of why you guys were going against them? Yeah, like how it started, it's mad, because there's always been, even like, I can only talk about from my generation. Yeah. The generation before me had there was tension, but it was kind of, there was people from like, I'm the big man here, you're the big man from there, so we're kind of cool. So it wasn't like, they never beefed how we beefed. But how my generation started over gal. Like
over a girl.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you, but that's the thing. A lot of people do not like to admit. A lot of these road issues start over. Sometimes it is food. Sometimes it is money. But a lot of time it is over girl. But please continue.
So it was a predominant man from my area was checking for a girl that a predominant member from he liked.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you're moving to him. And it's like, obviously he's not a prick. He thought he wasn't a prick. Yeah. And then from there, it's just been, you're from there, I'm from here. And then it's just like a cycle. It comes to, your brethren gets involved, something might happen. So something happens to him. So it's past the girl. Yeah. We're not even looking like it's not gal anymore. Yeah. It's, you touch my brethren, or I touch your brethren. And you're from there and I'm from here. So we don't like each other now. Yeah. So how our generation started, it was gal.
And do you think that sort of just gets passed on to the youngers each and every single time? It's like, okay, cool. We don't know why we're beefing them anymore, but you guys, if you see them guys from there, I mean, not to put you in any sort of place, but like now as someone that's a little bit older, right? What do you say to the young people in your neighborhood? Like, yeah, it's long, or like, yeah, nah, them man, yeah, we don't like them, and it's gonna ever be like that. What would you say at a place that someone's a little bit older now?
See, me, I have to have some sort of understanding from both sides.
Yeah.
Because at the time, like, you can't tell somebody, like I said, like, you can't tell somebody to be cool when you've done something to them and expect them to, just because you've maybe changed. So the advice I give to them, because I understand, like, I see the understanding in what might be considered bad and what might be considered good.
Yeah.
So I don't tell them to carry on, but I also tell them to be very aware. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, we all get in positions where you might have to defend yourself.
Yeah.
So I can say as much as it, like, I can say, okay, I'm cool. I'm not on nobody. No, it's calm. If I've done something to somebody and they see me, there's obviously going to be a problem because I'm going to have to defend myself. There's people that maybe the young G's are beefing. They might not even have issues, or I might not have an issue with you, but you got an issue with me.
Yeah.
So it's like, what advice you give, either way, it's kind of wrong. Because if you tell them, step away, no, you know what? Don't be aware and do this and do that. As much as it is productive, everything drops and now they get touched and it's kind of...
You told me nothing's going to happen.
Do you get it? So it's like, either way, you just have to give it from a logical, like, I try to give it very logically, that's it.
I mean, at the height of this sort of thing, I think you mentioned to me earlier, that got to a point that where your family home was shot at. I mean, was you in at the time or did you sort of hear it after? And what's the conversation with your family at the time, and how did you feel as a person? Did you feel fear, like they know where I live?
It's mad because I remember it like it was yesterday as well. Obviously, something happened for it to spark that. Yeah. So a few days before, something happened to individual where he was in a bad way.
Yeah.
And I never even thought about it. It was actually like, I lived there. It actually happened on the next, like, the cul-de-sacs.
Okay, yeah.
So the next one, it happened just like there. Okay. But at the time, it never ran through my head like, I just lived there. So when it happened, I'm actually out. And I'm with all my brethren, like 5 of us.
Yeah.
And it's got to a point, everyone's starting to drive off and go their own certain ways. So I'm like, I'm going yard, it's dead.
Yeah.
It's going yard. And it's mad, I'm driving, and I'm gonna get to why it's mad as well. I'm driving, and the guy one of my brethren I was chilling with calls me and says, actually, let's go Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
Car park. But literally, I lived I can say it now, I lived off Victoria Road in Edmonton.
Okay.
So I'm on Victoria Road, my house is maybe 30 seconds, maybe less than that. 2 lefts and I'm there. He's called me at a point where he took my attention away from going home.
Okay.
So as I got to the top of the road, my phone's beating off.
Yeah.
It's my mum, but I'm not, hang up, call back straight away.
Yeah.
I ignored it again, but then something was like, let me answer this. But when she called me, she was like, somebody threw a brick or something's happened to the window.
Yeah.
So at the time, I'm like, what? So I've come back round And when I've actually got there, there's bare feds, and there's actually like 2 bullet holes in my window. Like one went through the front glass and hit the back, and then the second one hit like the second window next to the front window.
So that means like literally you could have been on your way there and they called it seeing you at the time.
And it's mad, I get back to that. It's actually mad because I actually feel like he probably saved my life.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't call me and I just parked up, I would have got there exactly when they was there. So either way, it's a fucked up situation, but it could have been extra. Do you get it? Because if I was there when they pulled up, it's obviously a different situation.
I mean, what's going through your head then when you're seeing feds there? Are they trying to arrest? Because sometimes feds just arrest everyone as soon as they see someone
Nah, do you know what? It's mad because it was like a scene from a movie where like feds are out, the neighbours are out, and I remember it like there's 2 holes in a window, and I'm like, I think I must have been like at the time 21, 22. So even I'm like, raw, this is actually mad. I didn't even know what to feel because I'm just hearing, brick. But when I've actually got there, it's not a brick. It's actually, my house has been shot actually twice.
And what's the conversation with your parents at this time? What are they telling you?
At the time, they're not even thinking about like the reason why. They're just like, the house has been shot. Like, let's sort this, and we need to sort this out and get to the bottom of this. So we actually had a conversation like 3 days later, because when it happened, I actually came and I drove off. But then when I drove off, feds have arrested me then. But they've actually just brought me back because I haven't done nothing. But they think I'm going to do something. But I'm 22. I'm like, my head's gone. I just drove off. But then they brought me back to a point where like they arrested me. Like, what's going on? But obviously.
I mean, at that point, what's going through your head is like, these men are violated. I'm going back out there. Like, what do you think?
No, I'll be like, at the time, like it's a big thing. So I'm like, raw, my yard's been shot. So at the time, I need to kind of understand what it's like for my parents. So I can't just be like, it's a different story when it happens. So we've actually moved at the ends for like 3-4 weeks. Stayed with my auntie. But in that time, I'm talking to people and just finding out like, raw, even, how did he even know where I live? Even do you know what, I'll be real, even to this day, I don't even know. And
do any girls know where you live?
Nah.
Okay.
But do you know what is, you can come to where I'm known in the area, you could pull up there and ask a youth playing out, where does Dynamic live? And he might just be like, he lives there. Not knowing. That's the only thing that I can maybe really think of. But at the time, for the first 2 weeks, I'm just trying to decipher it, and obviously this feds back and forth. I've been nicked for it, so I just have to kind of adapt to what my parents are going through. So
was there any time where they were kind of successful in actually getting you? Because sometimes people escape for a little while, and then the situation where
no, in fact, like I actually bucked up with the person who actually did it at a later date. And I had the upper hand. So I didn't, because nothing like serious like that happened to my yard. Like nothing like that happened serious to him, but it's like, I still had that, it was like maybe 4 years later, I still had that same, like, I think about it. So at that whole time, my main focus was, my yard's been shot, and these man, they're not bragging about it, but they're saying, raw, man did it. So it's pride and ego.
Pride and ego,
and that's a motherfucker.
Do you think how hard is it? And it is hard because we all struggle with it. But how hard is it to suppress your pride and ego
at that age?
I mean, even now, it is difficult.
I think right now it's easier with understanding. Like I get it more. I find it so much easier now because it's like I think about stuff more, and maybe I might think about the consequences of my actions. So where you can do certain things, maybe like when you're 18 and 19, you don't it sounds mad, but you don't even care about if you go jail or not. Even though you don't want to go jail, but you're like, 18, 19, I've got time.
Yeah.
You get to the point now where you grow up and you're like, no, jail is not part of the plan. No. So your risk assessment has to kick into place to what makes sense. But as for pride and ego, at that time, it was probably nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that it was impossible then, so I try to change it now and just, like, obviously I'm not perfect, but I try to just adapt more and have a better understanding.
Yeah. I mean, going back onto the music, who was your sort of music influences when you was doing the grime at the time?
At the time, grime, I would say, do you know what? We was always respecting Boy Better Know's movement.
Yeah.
Like from the merchandise and even the music, always spitting. We just saw like the growth. So that was even, I can't maybe not speak about everyone else, but just I respected.
Yeah.
So Boy Better Know.
Even though they were from Tottenham, I think like, yeah, you know what? Actually, what they're doing
of course. Yeah, of course. Like, man's a lot of things, but I'm not a hater. Like, do you know what I'm saying? If even it's fuck them, it might be fuck them, man. But if man can rap, he can rap. Or if he's a good baller, he can ball. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not. I've never been a hater. Yeah. But I was like inspired more. It's gonna sound cliche, but by people around me.
Yeah.
Like Sculpture. Even Cold Blooded, just seeing them being from the ends and doing well, it was just like, yeah, I wanna step my game up as well. But then when it came into rap, we was like, we built a collective, a rap collective, and that was just 3 people, and it was Shank Stars, and that was 3 people. But where we are 3 predominant members in a group of like larger people, the feds kind of class everyone as Shank Stars now. So that kind of blew Shank Stars up even more. So we was just dropping music. So when we saw the rap stuff popping off and Shank Stars, we just started running with the rap and we just became a collective.
Was that a conscious thing? You saw that the war's kind of changing, everyone's doing a bit of hip hop now, the grime is kind of dying down. Is that what conscious thing?
No, it was a thing before. For me, it's like, even at that time, and this is no disrespect, grime became a bit childish to me. Like, rap allowed me to express myself more and say better things. And
I know exactly what you're saying, because for me, it got to a point when it kind of left kind of the garage MC and went to grime, it was very repetitive. If someone would basically say, bro, I'm going to punch your mum. Say it again, I'm going to punch your mum. Oi, I'm going to punch... And everyone's going to crowd over it.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It became very basic,
And I just thought, like, I want to be able to express myself better than this. So obviously grime's a faster tempo, slowed it down with rap and you can say more things. So we just ran with the rap, and I've just been running with rap from Shank Stars from 2000 and maybe 9, 10.
So what would you, like I said, I was new to your music, and like I said, I think you're very talented, and it's the sort of music I listen to. What do you think kind of stops you then from really, I mean, you're a prominent person in the Edmonton area. What you think stopped you from getting to the greater heights? Was you always consistent, or did you still take a step back?
No, I got to take some accountability. Even at one point, I've always been doing music, but the consistency scale has maybe been a bit off. So see the time in music that we're living in now. We was really doing that like 10 years ago. So when I'm maybe not 10, but when I'm rapping like that, then we're seeing like, oh yeah, they fuck with it now. But then as you get older, I cannot keep that same energy as I was as a young man, or even a youth, as a grown man now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Is it also financially? Because at that time there wasn't that much money. It would be the 1 or 2 people you might have a tiny tempo who's kind of gone clear, but not everyone else. And then you're having to spend money on studio time, on videos. Was it that part of it? So if you go, keep spending and nothing's really...
Not really, because even till now, music has never been about, even though I want the career from it, it's never been about the money. I love doing music. I've got a passion for music, so I've always wanted to do it. It's never been about, I'm going to drop this and I'm going to see £1 million from it. It's, I'm doing it the way I want to do it, and I'll see the fruits of my labor the way I'm doing it.
So why would you say you wasn't consistent? What was the thing that was stopping you from being consistent?
The road. Sometimes even losing the love. Because where it got to a point was like, we're doing so many things, we're beefing with man, like we're not writing lyrics, like, or going studio and all that. We don't want to do that. Like it got to, even like at that age, and this is gonna sound mad, it was like, it was fun to like see the beef. It was fun, like, because we had a youth club and all that, but where the youth club shut down, and there was nothing really going on. And Edmonton's so small, it got to a point where it's just like, this is something to do. As mad as it sounds, it's like, it just gives you something to do. So that's why it just carries on and on and on, because it's just like a vicious cycle. It might start off, you're doing this, and then something happens, and then something happens, and then something happens, and then it just gradually goes on.
Yeah. I mean, what would you say sort of influence your writing now? Because writing how you was as sort of a 21-year-old to writing how you are now, what's the main sort of difference that you would say that you've learned from that time?
Living life.
Yeah.
Like, one of the key factors I was like, see if I could, not even if I could, the advice that I would give is see the world, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I think going on holiday changed my life. Like, because we're at to a point where like we're in the ends all day and nothing's really going in. And then I remember the first Mandem holiday, and we all go away and we're like, what's going on?
It's so big.
There's there's weather, and then it's like, that place nice, so let's go there. If you don't have that taste of like the world is actually a big place, and maybe even not saying like disowning your ends or like that, but go see other places. That kind of influenced life experiences, and then it just made living life made my writing get better.
Yeah,
it's just like had to separate being so heavily rapping about gang shit then, but then understanding now, I'm not really looking to promote that message. You know what I'm saying right now.
I mean, just looking at sort of Edmonton as a whole in terms of music-wise, we've seen people come, we've seen your Scorchers who came, and then I think with him as well, I guess the consistency of him going to prison that kind of stopped that. We've seen that I had A1 from the 9 here as well. Obviously, the biggest person I would say that's sort of come and sort of put the map really to shine on Edmonton is sort of Tion Wayne. I mean, when you guys are sort of looking at that, like how's it making you guys feel from someone from that area that he's representing now?
Bro, man's so proud of him, bro. Like that's real. Like I remember, like even from when he started, I think one of his first tunes, like I've got like being the Image God now had a brand like the Image Gang brand. He's just been like from the start was like on it, wearing the garms even in his videos. So to see the progression of him just being in the ends, rapping in the block, to now having the number one song in the country.
No, just a country, Australia, New Zealand,
you know what I'm saying,
Ireland.
bro? It's mad. And I'm witnessing this firsthand. I've seen the growth. I've seen him go jail, overcome that, road, overcome that, and still become. So it's like at the same time, it's good to see. It's also inspiring. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's a sound I guess the new generation got in terms of, I guess, drill, because you can do sort of other. When you see sort of the drill scene, is it ever thought, okay, let me actually jump on a drill beat? Is that something that you might want to do, or something you've done already?
Yeah, I rate the drill thing, like in the sense of I like the pockets that they find and all that. Like it just reminds me of like a grown, aggressive grime. Yeah. So there is certain drill tunes that I do like, but as a concept of like now it's become everyone sounding the same. Yeah. It's like if I was to do it, it wouldn't be a serious thing. It would just be like, oh, I like that beat. Let me just dump on it quickly. I wouldn't be like trying to use it as an angle of, say if I make a drill tune, because I can easily make a drill tune and I pop from the drill tune, that's what they're gonna expect from man. I'm not giving you that. So it's like, I wanna come into the music that I wanna make. So when people hear my music, they're like, oh no, it's not like, oh, we expected just drill from him. Yeah. It's, no, he can rap. And part of the
when you actually sort of like, you know, like I said, when I listen to your beats, it's sort of that somber, it's like the right word. It's like the sort of beats that I think that Nas would use. That makes sense. So
I hear what you mean.
Do you consciously choose those sort of laid back, because not sort of your aggressive sort of Young Jeezy trap sort of beat, or even your Busta Rhymes loud active beat, sort of the storytelling beats. Is that the lane that you've chosen to go to, and why have you chosen that lane?
I just feel like in that lane on them type of beats, you can say what you want to say in the manner I want to say it in. See me, like the way I write, the first, second down to if it's 16 or 32, I clock it. I don't know if other people clock it, because I know I'm doing it. Every line is cohesive with each line. I'd never go off topic. So these beats allow me not to be all over the place because I write in a concept of every line has to mean something. And maybe it's because I feel like now, when you said to me, you said the question that you asked before, why do you think, I feel like I take music too seriously.
Okay.
Like, I've got a personality, do you know what I'm saying? So I should put that into my music. And I get it as well, but I want to come off, I'm letting you know I can rap. And not only can I rap, I'm better than you at rapping as well.
So you don't kind of seem as if you're doing the gimmicky thing?
No, I'm not on this. I'm not on the gimmicky thing. I'm not on the gimmicky thing. Gimmicky is subjective, but see the UK music that is in the forefront now, it's gimmicky. It sounds the same. It's like you got to have a video or go viral. It's like the more time goes along, the more we're losing the concept of music. Like music don't matter no more. It's how many followers you got. Or...
I was saying this to my friend the other day. I said that I don't really enjoy music as much as I used to enjoy music anymore. Like there's certain songs I feel like, yeah, this is a banger, but you don't have that same feeling you had for music from before.
It's just everything is so gimmicky, and there has to be
a dance to it, something goes viral like that.
It's like the music doesn't matter no more.
Is it because we live in the age of social media and your TikToks and your Instagram?
No, I think it's more we're living in a day of attention seekings at our all-time high and clout, and everybody wants to be included in something. So it's like it's easy to promote mediocre shit. It's easy. If I was shit, it's probably easier for me to be a shit rapper to blow right now than it is to be like people say, oh, you got to dumb it down and all that. So when we're telling people, oh, you might have to dumb it down to give it to the masses, how dumb do we have to give it for people to get it?
But I wouldn't even say dumb it down, because if you look now, the other day I put up a post which had a little bit of controversy. I said, for me, Potter Paper's the hardest rapper in the UK. I heard his album the other day, and I'm like, there's not a song that I can really, and it sort of just gives you that vibe of storytelling, and then you feel every single lyric. And listen to you, I felt kind of like, yeah, that's the same sort of vibe. So it's showing and demonstrating that, you know what, you don't have to do the gimmicky thing. There are people who are actually out there who are. He got, I think, the number 2, number 3 album. Nine's got number 1 album. So people are doing that old school road rap. Does that give you inspiration when you see that?
There's pros and cons to it, because like the artists that you just said, they already have a heavy foundation and a fan base, and I think it might be more difficult for me where my following or fan base is not as big as theirs. I have to work extra harder for me to put out that music that correlates with, like, to put my music in the same category as theirs. Do you get it? Because it's like, I feel like what my problem is, the only issue is the platform, the reach. If everything's limited, it can only go a certain far. Once you go past that, it's like it will go out to everything else.
Is it just a little barrier that you need to
man.
To over?
That's it. That's what it is.
So how do you sort of work it then? How do you sort of like get people to I guess interviews like this? I'm assuming, but what's your other sort of strategy to really put yourselves out there?
Just consistently drop music. Like I'm not. Do you know what it is? I don't like the music game that people have to play. That like the fakeness, the breading, the gimmicks and stuff. I like to be like as real as man can be. So when I even say to my brethren, see when I purposely do certain things or show certain things, man, watch it back and be like, bro, that is cringe, you know. I don't even want to do that. But then you gotta have the understanding of that, bro. This is what people want to see. So I gotta understand to maybe not put too much seriousness into the music, but the music game, it's worse than the road. It's like you gotta treat it, you gotta understand it. I gotta have a better understanding of the music game and not everything may be personal.
I think a lot of times people as well kind of refer to everyone, that's my brother, bro. And a lot of times like you don't know these people, like you may have collaborated with them or you want to collaborate with them. And I think a lot of times people realize how disappointing you will be trying to say everyone's your bro. Do you find there's a lot of fakeness within the music industry in terms of these friendships? 100%.
100%. It's like, for me, I cannot meet somebody, maybe like once, like I'm all for energy and all that. You can understand if somebody's, you know what I'm saying? But to meet somebody and then automatically be on their picture saying, oh, my bro, I don't know nothing about you. I met you once, as cool as you might be, I don't know nothing about you. I think people are very quick to maybe vouch for people that they shouldn't be vouching for, or maybe we're not having an understanding who the person is. And then it comes to a point where like you let people, like, see, the internet is so mad because see with Twitter, I don't know how even you find this, with Twitter and Instagram, don't you feel it allows people to get comfortable and build like something up in their head and feel they maybe even say something or do something or even expect something from you.
Yeah.
Like to a point where it's like, bro.
Like you said, like there'll be when these causes happen and someone DM you, are you not gonna talk on this subject? Are you not like, who am I to talk on this subject? I just create my platform for what I want to promote. And you're right. Sometimes people say, well, comment the thing, and you think, wow, you're probably comfortable in it, like, but we can't have it both ways, I guess.
That's what I'm saying.
We want them to support. So
this is what we put out.
We want to criticize. We can say, but sometimes people do get comfortable. And I think like, I don't know you from nowhere. Why do you think you can run a joke with me like that? Sort of
then where do you find the balance of interacting with people and drawing the line, or maybe having no interaction at all? Because if I interact with you once, I might say something, and you be like, "Oh, what are you saying? Oh, you dickhead." You're thinking, bro, like,
and like from that one dickhead, it's like, that's a vial. Nah, it's a problem.
So you got to have an understanding of it's the internet. Yeah. Like whatever's gonna be like, it's not a real place. It's not a real place.
So I mean, like you release a few tracks now. What's next coming for you now?
Just going forward is just be consistent music dropping. I'm dropping like every month, a video or a music. So the plan is now just to drop consistent music and then drop a tape. Yeah. And then from the tape, I hope it will build up a buzz where the tape does well, and then I'm just taking everything from there. What can we expect from
this tape, and when is this tape going to be coming?
I think we can drop. I think, you know, it is right now. It's a singles game. Yeah. And it's a singles game, so I feel like the best thing that man can do is to drop singles and go off the feedback, and then I find the perfect balance of dropping music, because when we was dropping music like and dropping tapes, like I'm 8 deep. Like people don't know that I'm like 8 tapes deep, like, but the Best of Shankstars tape and the Image God tape, that was for that factor of music. So it's like an introduction of new music now that I'm giving them that I have to be consistent with. So it's just about basically staying consistent.
Well, I think Beyonce said that recently as well. She said that in this day and age, it's kind of sort of microwave music in regards to no one actually creates a body of work anymore because everyone wants the quick singles now. Do you think going forward, like albums are not going to be needed anymore?
I think the way people are taking in music now, there's always going to be people or collectives or people that always respect music and love music, but it's going to decrease. Where maybe albums are going to be far and few, like it may be your selected few, but people just want the McDonald's. Oh yeah, give me the Big Mac, eat that, and I'm done with it. Give me the single. Oh yeah, I'm done with it. When's your next one? Like a week later or 2 weeks later. People are expecting everything fast, so I don't even know.
But in regards to collaboration, like who, let me say US wise, who would you collaborate with? And UK wise, who would you collaborate with? If it's not anyone from your team, I know.
That's gonna be that bait. No, who do? That's actually, I think America wise, see me, I like to work with singers more than rappers a bit more, because it gives you like more creative, like you can be more creative. So I'll pick like a singer and a rapper. I say like a singer, I would have to go for, who's gonna give me that wave that I listen to? That's a mad question. Obviously, I think I'm gonna go for the apparent one, Drake, just for the reach and the buzz. For the singer, I want to go for somebody that can really sing, like someone like Adele or something like that for the UK. As a rapper in the UK.
Just to touch on that, right? Back in the day, for a smash, you have a rapper, and then you have the female singer, and they'll have this sort of R&B classic vibes, or it'll be the R&B singer, and then the rapper will have his 16. It don't happen anymore.
Yeah, no, there's no format.
Something that, and I don't think we really tapped into it so much in the UK. Is that a genre or a space that we could go into?
I just think there's no format no more. Like you don't know what's gonna be a hit song anymore. Like you don't know if you need a 16, if you need a bridge. Like it's becoming like people are doing like trial and error. Like say if he drops a song, what that popped, so I'll try that formula. That tune's popping, I'm gonna try that formula. So I just think it just depends on the times. Where the times are gonna change, people just adapt.
I hear that, man. So we're coming to the end now. So I just want to say, what do you want to sort of let the people know about yourself? Any message to the young people out there, or your future fans who'll be watching this, your current fans? What would you like to tell them?
In these testing times, I think the best thing you can do is think for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people are relying on other people to think for them. And I think when you think for yourself and you know what you're doing, it becomes clearer of what you want to do, not what this person wants to do. So if you do want to be a bad boy, just make sure that you want to be a bad boy, not because your brethren wants you to be a bad boy. If you want to be a doctor, that's what you want to, you should be a doctor. Everyone should just have their own thinking. Just think for yourself, bro. That's it. That's the message.
In regards to the music?
The music, bro, just lock in, follow on socials. There's going to be music dropping every month. There's going to be a tape dropping. There's music coming from Edmonton. Yeah, just basically, you'll see it. You'll see it, bro.
Yeah, that's it, guys. And that's a wrap. And that's Big Ego Media.